Okay, we are in Nefesh Hachaim, Shaar Daled, Perek Yud Aleph. A few paragraphs in, and there's a lot to understand here. The Nefesh Hachaim says as follows: V'lochein. You have it there, everybody. V'lochein, and therefore, me'es habriya, from the time of the creation of the world, in the very beginning, Shoisa Torah Gnuza Adayin Bimkor Shorsha Hanelam. We all know that, we've all heard that the Torah was created before the world was created. Lamashal Istakol Baraiso Bara Alma. Hashem looked in the Torah, and that was the blueprint, if you will, for the world. So we know that the Torah was created first. But here we're getting a little technology. The Torah was Gnuza until the Bria Ha'olam, Bimkar Sharsha Hanelam, at the place of its original source. Hanelam Mikol Elamis Elyonim. Umirachayk Levad, and it was only from afar. Heira L'chol Ha'elamis La'achyoisam U'Lekaimam. It was only from afar that the Torah was able to give its light. You remember that the Torah is called, let me just mute the participants here. Okay, I just muted everybody, I'm sorry, I hate doing that. But you remember that the Torah is a lashon of oiraisa, lashon of or. So the light, think of it as light. Light is light. Torah is light. Torah ora. So it means that the Torah was illuminating the world. And I just want to, that's a very simple thought, and it's a very deep thought, and I just want to understand it a little bit. When you light something up, what it really means is that you're creating some clarity, right? Put some light on the subject. So there was a lack of clarity, and the clarity which the Torah was giving at the very, very beginning of the world, it was only meirachayk levad heira l'chol ha'elamais, that it was giving or to all the different worlds, the world that we live in, lahachyoisam u'lekaimam, and it would give chiyut, and it would give kiyum. V'loit nishtalshla atzmusa mamish, but the actual Torah was not, didn't come into this world. Lemata lezeha olam, sheyasku ba kvutze mata. At the very beginning, nobody was learning Torah. I don't know if anybody knew about the Torah. It was there. It was some type of a spiritual thing that was up in the Shamayim somewhere. And after Avram Avinu and Matan Torah, etc., so we were able to be osek in this Torah. It's a chiddush nifla to be able to be osek in the Torah. Adayin hayo oilamais. So at that time, at the early part of the Bria, hayo oilamais roifafim v'roitatim. The world, meaning the world that we live in, Atzilus Bria Yitzir Asiya, was rofafim, was shaky. The world was shaky, which it was. Read the book of Bereshis. V'rosasim. What does rosasim mean? Trembling. Reses v'zeya. Reses v'zeya.
Vibrating, like when you had put your phone on vibrate, it says retet.
Does it say that? Yeah. So we have a lashon of standing before Hashem, beretet v'zeya. Trembling. Vibrating. The world was not really working correctly. And to this the Chachamim gave a name, and they called it Shnei Alafim Tohu. So it refers to the Gemara in Avodah Zarah Daf Tes Amud Aleph, which is very, very important. And in the Gemara in Avodah Zarah Tes Amud Aleph, the Gemara says, we've touched on this before, that the world, the whole project, is 6,000 years old. 6,000 years it'll take. that means to say we're now in 5,780. So we're close to the 6,000 mark. If the historians are correct, we're 160 years off. So we're 5,009. We're right there. So to the 6,000. So the world is a 6,000-year project, which the Gemara in Avodah Zarah divides into three. The first 2,000 years were Tohu. The second 2,000 years were Torah. The third 3,000 years is Yemos HaMashiach. Two things I want to say about this, and this could just be an introduction to what I want to say for the next few minutes to try to understand it. First of all, Pashat Pshat in the Gemara, if there's such a thing. First of all, the Gemara says more than that. We just don't like to quote the whole thing. The Gemara says 2,000 years of Tohu, 2,000 years of Torah, 2,000 years of Yemos HaMashiach. Then there's the rest of the Gemara, which we don't quote too much. V'chad Chorav. And then 1,000 years of total destruction. Utter destruction. So in other words, we're thinking about getting to year 6,000, and boom, Mashiach comes, and Tchias HaMesim, and Miyodei Amad, Beis HaMikdash, nope. 1,000 years Chorav.
The Shabbos is the Torah.
So have patience.
So the Ramban is not Garas the Charav.
The Gemara says Charav. The Gemara says Charav. I don't know that the Ramban has the right. The Gemara says Charav. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah, our Talmud Bavli, it says.
But isn't there one in Sanhedrin also that does?
The Gemara does not say. The Gemara in Sanhedrin doesn't say Charav. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah says Charav.
Maybe the Ramban's telling us that we're going like not Charav.
Okay. Okay, that's one optimistic approach. I mean, what does it mean? What does it even mean? So let me just say a couple of things about this. Just a couple of things in the Pashat Pshat, which I think we need to know. Excuse me. First of all, one of the misquotes of the Gemara is Shnei Alafim Tohu Vavohu. And it doesn't say that. It says Shnei Alafim Tohu, not Tohu Vavohu. And there's a big difference between Tohu and Vohu and Tohu Vavohu. It's of course the lashon of Tohu Vavohu. The whole thing is a pella, because the Torah says Breishis bara Elokim es hashamayim v'haaretz, va'aretz haisa Tohu Vavohu v'choshech al pnei hatoim. And then Vayomer Elokim Yehi Or. So l'chayra, that was all over with, that Tohu Vavohu, before Kadosh Baruch Hu created man even. Haaretz haisa Tohu Vavohu v'yehi Or. Although it doesn't say in the pasuk that the Tohu was over with, the Tohu Vavohu was over with. It just says that Haaretz haisa Tohu Vavohu v'choshech al pnei Or, al pnei hatoim. So, there's a chiddush here in the Gemara. I just want to point out that, that just like the Or didn't go away, and just like the water didn't go away, either did the Tohu Vavohu go away. So this Tohu Vavohu was not like the way we read it in Chumash and Cheder. It wasn't something that took place only at the beginning of the Bria, before the Bria Adam. It kept on going, the Tohu Vavohu, and ad kedei kach that the Gemara says Shnei Alafim Tohu. It took 2,000 years. Let me get back to that in a minute, but let me explain something in Pashat Pshat which you may or may not know. What does Tohu Vavohu mean? Try Taich. What's the translation of Tohu Vavohu? Yes, Jonathan? Tohu Vavohu. So
Vavohu means there's something in it.
Tohu is to be like.
Vavohu.
That's a question. Who's Tohu?
And Vohu?
The Ramban says means something's in it. Doesn't that matter?
You're into this Ramban of Yuli. I said the Yuli. Okay. Let's learn Pashat Pshat with respect to the Ramban. Let's learn Pashat Pshat just because I need to build in Pashat Pshat. Ha'olam ha'isa Tohu v'Vayu means that it was Tohu and it was Vayu. Tohu, as Avram said, is a lashon of Tohe. We say it in Hataras Nadarim. Einani Tohe al Harishonos. We say it in the Rishonim. Tosfos says Tohu ha Rishonim. Tohu Tohe Amafarshim. The Rishonim say it's a lashon of. It's not a lashon of a kasha or imtaimar or a shela. A Tohu is a wonderment. Unknown. By the way, the English says, in most English says like balagan, like just like a mess. But what it really means is wonderment. Like we're walking around and we're saying, what is the world is going on? So the olam, or the world at that time, was Tohu. It means to say it was inexplicable. It was confusing. And if you look deeper, let's say the Gra says lashon Tohu. He says it's a lashon of panic. You're panicking, like when you don't know what's going to happen in the next minute, and you don't understand what's happening right now. You're in a state of confusion. You're in a state of panic. The state of confusion started before the world was created, and as the Gemara says, Shnei alafim Tohu, and it was 2,000 years till the confusion and the Tohu, the wonderment, went away, the panic. And of course, what happened the 2,000 years? So, in 1948, Avram Avinu was born, and at 52 years old, he started to learn Torah. So it means to say that until Avram Avinu came into the world and started learning Torah, the Rambam says at the beginning, Kol Hadar was Oved Avodah Zarah, Va'af Hu Avad Imohem. He was one of them. He was worshiping Avodah Zarah just like they were, like his dad. That was their tradition. But by the time he got to 50, or Shnei Alofim, so he understood and he started to make Seder out of the Bria. That means for 2,000 years. Let's leave out for the moment the time that we were in Gan Eden, a couple days. But let's leave out that time. It was a big kasha. The whole world was a big kasha. Like if you can imagine, and I want to emphasize this. Can you imagine a world where we had no, forgive me, Judeo-Christian tradition, or we had no mahalach in who created the world and why the world was created, or what are we supposed to do now that we're here? Like we're just here. Like I don't know if the fish under the water, if they know why they're here. No, they're not going to college. I don't know if the animals running in the wild know why they're here. They know how to survive. I don't know. I'm not a bird psychologist, but I'm just saying they know how to survive. But it's the whole world was like that. The whole world for 2,000 years was Tohu, and Tohu means wonderment. Like what the heck? What are we doing here? What's this for? What's our job? What are we meant to do? What do you have during those 2,000 years? You have Cain killing Hevel. You have the Mabul. You have the Migdal Bavel. You have one crazy story after another. Ad Sheba, you have Avodah Zarah throughout the world, and they couldn't get rid of it. Even after the Mabul. After the Mabul, they kept on worshiping Avodah Zarah. Looking for, like people today worship Avodah Zarah. Looking for some kind of meaning, looking for some kind of a spirituality, there's a natural desire to worship, there's a natural desire to pray, but la yadu mazeh ve'al mazeh. Nobody had any idea of what they were doing.
Can I ask a question? Adam Arishon lived 930 years, so he was around and he saw it. And Noach, I think, did Noach meet Adam Arishon?
Amos.
Adam Avinu met Noach.
Amos, and wanted to, and Noach got a vision of what it's supposed to be in Gan Eden. So, but don't forget that even if Adam Arishan like had an early memory of Gan Eden, he was living in a world of Tohu, and Noach was living in a world of Tohu. There could have been Yechidim.
So, Rabbi,
Yeah.
sorry. So in other words, Adam Rishon, Kodim, or after the Chet, it doesn't make a difference. It's the same Tohu.
It was a Tohu because it could be Gan Eden, the Zohar says, in Gan Eden itself before the Chet. There was clarity. But what are we talking about? We're talking about, look what it says by the Mabul, Amatzia. Mayonais al hatehoim. Tehoim, we always look at as a big depth or a big expanse or something very, very deep under the ground. Tehoim, that the Ad Kedei Kach, the Rashi says the water was coming from the ground. It wasn't just coming from the sky. It's coming from the ground. Tehoim is Lashon Tohu. Lashon HaKodesh 101. Lashon Tohu. Yoni, does your cell phone ever say Tohu?
No, but it feels like it sometimes.
So we have Reses, but we don't have Tohu. Tohu, Tohu is a Tahoim, which I want to get back to in a second. Remember this, Mishpatecha Tahoim Rabbah. Remember that. Put that in your mind for a moment. Mishpatecha Tahoim Rabbah. Look at the pasuk. Va'aretz haisa tohu vavohu v'chayshech al pnei Tahoim. That the chayshech was hovering over the tohu. Chayshech al pnei Tahoim. So tohu is my adjective adverb is not good enough, but tohu is a matzav, and Tahoim is the noun. So tohu al pnei Tahoim. It's the same word, same pasuk. It works. Interesting that the Gemara says Shnei Alafim Tohu, which is the first diuk that we need to make. That it doesn't say the world was Tohu v'vayu, but it says it was Tohu. It was total confusion, total question, total wonderment, even panic, total wrong direction. It was a total survival mechanism. How do we survive? And the survival had to do with killing each other. The survival had to do with gezel, lo'nechtamu gzardinam ala gezel. The Mabul had to do with everybody robbing each other. It was a dog-eat-dog society because nobody knew. Bishvil maza ve'al maza. Nobody understood what the whole thing was about. What's it for? Ad sheba Avram Avinu. Until Avram Avinu came and he turned on the lights. And he started to say, first of all, there's no such thing as a building without a builder. And then Bakloyos, he understood that Avodah Zarah is the wrong thing. And somehow Min HaShamayim B'Nevuah, he started to keep the Torah. And he started to teach the Torah. V'Avram Magayers HaGerim, V'Sarah Magayers HaNoshim. They started to bring this kind of a light into the world in the year 2000. And the light continued, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Ad Shehiganu to Matan Torah, which was another 250 years later, right? So we're talking about a development, if you will, of light. But Shnei Alafim Tohu, not Tohu v'vayu, but Tohu. Finally, Shnei Alafim, from the time of Avram Avinu, started Shnei Alafim Torah. Second part of this brisa. Shnei Alafim Torah means that we started to understand, we started to get direction, we started to know what we're doing here, we started to know how to work the world, we started to understand what our purpose in the world is. That's Shnei Alafim Torah. And then, when we get that clear in the year 4000, which was when? You know what happened in the year 4000? Anybody know?
Was the sealing of the Mishnayot?
Very good, yeah. Chasimas HaMishnah. Chasimas HaMishnah, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. So, 2,000 years. What? Sorry?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, if when Hashem created the world, and the Torah is the means, is the fulfillment of purpose of the world, so why wait 2,000 years? So what's pshat? I mean, just give it to Adam Rishon the way it's supposed to be. and let's get going. What's
So,
happened in
so
2,000 years?
thank you for that question, because it's exactly what I want to say right now. What you see here is that take the middle one because it's easiest to understand. Torah. So we got the Torah. We didn't get the Torah. No, starts with Avram Avinu. Forget about the first 2,000 years. Second 2,000 years starts with Avram Avinu learning Torah on the level that he was learning on Torah. Goes to Mountain Torah, which is like okay, so we got the Torah. No, that was like a bump, and then it goes all the way to the Chasimus HaMishnah. And then, by the way, from the Chasimus HaMishnah, Gemara is a whole different story. The Gemara is understanding the Torah that we had a Gilui of in the second 2,000 years. What does it mean? It means to say that Kach Gazar Hashem, why I don't know, could guess, but the Metzias HaDvarim is that Torah was developed for 2,000 years. And it needed to be that way. It needed to be a process. It needed to be a process that started with Avram Avinu and ended with Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi. Process of understanding. The way to understand it is because the way to understand it is because the Torah that we have, before we get to the Torah of the Nefesh Hachaim, the Torah that we have is Isarusa de Lasata. So Isarusa de Lasata means that we need to organize it. We need to be Masader. It has to come from us. But which I want to get back to in a minute. I'm getting back to a lot of things in a minute. So I'm not, but if you'll say the second 2,000 years was a development, a process, then al korchach you have to say that the first 2,000 years was a process and the last 2,000 years was a process. So the first 2,000 years was a development, getting us from Tohu Vavohu all the way to Avram Avinu, all the way to Matan Torah, or all the way to Avram Avinu. That's when it really started. So you had a Noach in between. You had a number of tzaddikim in between. It was a development, little by little. You had Malki Tzedek, Melech Sholem. Avram Avinu learned Torah from him. You had Shem Ve'aver. You had a number of things, but it was a process. The same thing was with Torah. It was a process, and here's the Chiddush, gentlemen, that the same thing is true, ladies and gentlemen, that the same thing is true with Yemos HaMashiach. It doesn't say that Mashiach is going to come in the year 6,000. It doesn't say that. It's a Shnei Alofim Yemos HaMashiach. There's 2,000 years process till we get to Mashiach. So what's the 2,000 years process?
Maybe we could say better even that Mashiach is the Kufa from 4,000 to 6,000. Mashiach doesn't come at 4,000. It's a process from 4,000 to 6,000. Those 2,000 years.
Exactly. That's not better. That's what I said. It's the process is we can understand the process. The process could be Kibbutz Golius, Eretz Yisrael. That's the stuff we see in our day. But there was many processes, a lot of it carbon, that took place, which are all call into the category of Yemos HaMashiach, Ikvasa de Mashiach, Achris HaYomim. These are all what's going on. That's what we're living. And we're living at the end of that period, as I said, 5,050, what are we now? 557, 80 plus, so we're at the end and we're seeing a lot of the endings of the process of Mashiach, no question about it. Ani Mamin Bebuna Shlema Mashiach is going to come tomorrow. But what we need to understand, in the Lashon of the Gemara, Kima Uba. The Gemara says that Rabbi Yossi was walking in Har Tavar. Anybody's been to Har Tavar? It's a place to visit with a Shulchan Aruch in your hand. Because in Har Tavar is where they, it's in the Galil, that's where they understood and they learned, they went there, the Tanoim went there to try to understand Shkiyas Hachama and Netzachama. Because from Har Tavar you could see a number of things. You can see how the sun. You can see the sunrise all the way to Hare Moav, which was important for the Chazal. You can see the Shkia. You can see when the sun sets, and it's completely different than Tveria, which is on the bottom of the hill. If you're driving there, so you got to go to Har Tavar educated. Otherwise, you're just seeing a mountain, and stand there for a few hours and watch how the sun shines on it and the different reflections. And they're walking on Har Tavar, the Gemara says, and I go by there and I'm so inspired to think about it, that the Tanoim, the great Tanoim, they were walking at Har Tavar, talking about the Shkia, and what they're talking about is, does the Netzachama happen like that? Or is the Netzachama go little by little? So, for instance, if you live in Bet Shemesh, so you want to go daven nets. Now you have a choice, and they're 10 minutes apart. Unclear. There's 10 minutes, and then even in the end of the 10 minutes, there's 10 minutes before nets, 10 minutes earlier, and then 10 minutes. Anybody these days, a lot of people are davening nets more. You'll see there's, Masas Mordechai is 10 minutes, and the other shows another 10 minutes. This is what they were discussing at Har Tavar. What's the pshat in Netzach Hama? And Rabbi Yossi said, Kima huba, that the Netzach Hama comes tzubisalach, little by little. And then he said, V'kach hi derech geula seinu, that like that Netzach Hama is our geula. Kachamru chachamenu on Har Tavar. That's how the geula is. It's kima uba. It's a bislach. It's not a bang Mashiach. There's machlokes about this, but that's what he said, and that's how we take on la halacha. By the way, that it's kima, and I would say, if I may be so bold, that's what we see in our lives. Kima, we see it. So and whenever you have a process, by the way, there's always two things. There's always like a downside of the process that we don't like, and then there's also some mistakes in the process. Like, oh, we thought this, we thought that. Not dafka. We're not dafka right. There's mistakes. The mistakes are all part of it. So that's the 2,000 years. 2,000. So the diuk that I want to make here is that Shnei Alafim Tohu, not Tohu Vavohu, is Tohe, Timahon, Tahom. Just the letters are changed around. And Avram Avinu began to settle that. We had a meaning and a purpose. That took 2,000 more years to develop till the Zman of Rebbe. And now we have the Torah. Our job is not, it's to be Machadish Imshat, but it's not to go up to Har Sinai and get more Torah. There's no New Testaments or anything like that. It's about understanding what they taught us, what our tradition is, what our Messiah is. But what the ASIC now of the world is the 2,000 years of Yemais HaMashiach. Be'echad Chorav. And then comes the Chorban. Now, obviously, as Dan said, are you still here, Dan, somewhere?
Yes, I'm still here.
This you can't escape the fact that the 6 and the 7. So there are 6 days of the week, and there's a 7th day, which is Shabbos. There are 6 days of the Shemitah, and the 7th year is Shemitah, and the Yovel, and on and on. So 7 represents renewal. But more important, 7 represents Shabbos, Shavas Mimlachtoi. So I believe that when Chazal say that the 7,000th year, Sheishas Yamim Tasim Lachtecha, okay, Avram Avinu, go for it. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, go for it. Mashiach, what can we do? Gemara argued about this. Can you be dochek the kates? Can you not be dochek the kates? Is there anything we can do? As Gemara argues about that. The 7th year, Chorav sounds terrible, but I think it's actually a very positive thing. Chorav means that the world as we know it is destroyed, and there's a new world that comes in, and everything is renewed. Just like Shavas means that we withdraw our participation, if you will, our building, our process, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu begins his process, min hashamayim. So Chorav, I remember, I think I mentioned this before, in Yiddish, there's an expression for somebody who's very old and senile of being overbottle. So overbottle means senile. But the term obviously comes from the lashon of the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, where it says ben chamish lemikra ben shmonas esrei lechuppah, etc. And it says when you get to become a ben meya, we should all be zoche. When you get to be 100 years old, so kilu avar ubatal min ha'olam, avar ubatal min ha'olam. So, like in other words, over bottle, avar ubatal min ha'olam. So so I always like in the Yiddish rebuttal. It's like he's rebuttal. He doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know what he's doing. He already ate breakfast 4 times. That's rebuttal. In the lashon of the Mishnah, you're going up, 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 up in the process. And Avar Obatel Min Ha'olam is a very high place where you become otherworldly. If any of you or I were Zoche to see tzaddikim that were Ben Meah, they were from a different world. You were all of a sudden talking to a malach. That's the charav. That's the charav. The charav.
Question.
Yeah.
This is all post Chet, right? This whole plan of 2000 is after Chet. Had there not been a Chet, we have an idea what would have happened with Torah otherwise?
It would have just been there, Beisarusa Deila. The plan A was it's just there for us, no processes.
It's not given. It's just kind of there. There's no
No,
formal. I mean,
look-
our generation didn't have the Torah, and it doesn't look like he was planning to give it at least till after Shabbos. But that's a different reality. So in this world, the first week of the world that we had, there was no Torah,
As we know it.
as we know it.
It's clear to me that when Avram Avinu, when Adam Harishon was evicted from Gan Eden, the process began. Okay, you do it yourself. It stopped being a case of us, our process. It was strictly a case of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's process. And what did Adam Harishon do? And Chava, they ate from the Eitz Hadas. So eating from the Eitz Hadas means we want to do it ourselves. We want to be Kelohim. We want to do it ourselves, which is every one of our Yitzhahara.
So it's part of the klala then to have these 3 periods.
Absolutely,
2,000 years ago?
that is the Koitz V'Dardar. That is the Koitz V'Dardar. I want to tell you something, Gavaldik. So many things I want to say here, so it just hold me back. But I want to tell you something, Gavaldik.
No, don't hold you back. Just say them all.
I'll say them all. Okay, thank you. And we'll be at Minchas at 1:30. But the Gemara says, and the Medrash Rabbah says at the beginning of Bereishis, and the Gemara says also in the name of Reish Lakish. The Gemara says that Bereishis bar Lakim is Hashemayim v'Haaretz. Haaretz haisa soyu, 1, Vavohu, Choshech, al pnei Tohu. 4 things. So the Tohu, and we can't make Tohu Vavohu. Stop saying Tohu Vavohu. Tohu, Vohu, Choshech, Tahom, yeah? Says the Gemara, Tohu, Zumalchus Bavel. Look at world history. Vohu, Zemalchus Paras. Choshech, Zumalchus Yavan Shech Shichu Es HaOlam. Al Pnei HaTohaim, Zumalchus Edom. Roman Empire. Let's understand. Bavel is a lashon bilbul. When we talk, and we don't have any rishon val acher and acher, we are babbling. Stop babbling. So that comes from the Tower of Babel, where everybody started to babble. Nobody understood anybody's language. Bavel is the ultimate in Tohu. It's the ultimate in Tohu because Tohu is wonderment. We have no idea what we're doing. Kid Amran. And Bavel lived in that situation. They lived in that reality. The reality of Tohu. Vavohu is Malchus Paras. That was the Malchus where Haman tried to kill us all. And Bohu is a lashon that we use of Bahala. That's what Bohu means. Bahala, destruction. It's interesting that in the Teichacha in Parshas Bechukaisai, like if you look in there in the Psukim, when it all comes down to, we'll have this illness and that illness, Le'olenu, and this problem and this war and that war, and we will have Behala. That's what it says in the Chumash. We'll have Bahala, God forbid, or unless we had it already. So Bahala is like, as the Torah explains, Baboiker Yomar Mayitin Erev, Ba'erev Yomar Mayitin Boker. Total, utter confusion is what what Paras did. But Bahala Bohu. Choshech Zumalchus Yavan, who thought they were giving light into the world, and they did give a lot of light into the world, but they were covering the Torah. In other words, what does it mean they're covering the Torah? The Torah was coming from a high place to a low place, and the Yavanim were very intelligently trying to figure it out themselves. We're talking about, by the way, probably the later Yavanim, because the earlier ones were worshiping Thor, and so the Assyrian Greeks that were what they called the Enlightenment. But it was a darkness in the Lashon of Chazal, and Malchus Edom was Tohim. So the Gewaldige thing here is that if you look at the history of the world, we go from Tohu Vavohu to Choshech al Pnei Tohim. That's the history of the world that we're not over with yet. And now you need to match that up with 2000 as to how that happened. But there's a point. Another point I want to say is this, that we say in Mincha Shabbos, so we say, Tzidkascha Tzedek La'olam, Tzidkascha Tzedek La'olam, Umishpatecha Tahoim Rabba, Adam Uvehema Toshia Hashem. And there's three psukim there of what the Mefarshim call Tziduk Hadin. There's the Nusach Ashkenaz and the Nusach Sfarad. Whether you start with Tzidkascha Kahari El Mishpatecha Tahoim Rabba, or whether you start with Tzidkascha Tzedek Li'olam V'Seiroscha Emes. I'm sorry, so I got the psukim a little bit different. So let's tell Zachan Tzidkascha Kahari El. Let's stop on that for a second. Tzidkascha Kahari El Umishpatecha Tahoim Rabba. So what's Harare El and what is Tahoim Rabba? Tzedek is Harare El. Mishpat is Tahoim Rabba. Tzidkascha Kaharare El Mishpatecha Tahoim Rabba. What's Harare El and what's Tahoim Rabba? What do you say, Yaakov? Some Yaakov out there. Harare El is way up there. Harare El. The mountains, El doesn't mean God, it means mighty mountains. Mishpatecha is Mishpat. Tahoim Rabba. And it means is, when it comes to understanding the tzedek of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's all tziduk hadin. When somebody dies, we go to the cemetery and we say tziduk hadin. Tziduk hadin means that Hashem, you're right, and we don't know. That's what tziduk hadin means. We say it at a Levaya. The reason why we say this on Mincha and Shabbos is because three great tzaddikim died Mincha of Shabbos: Yosef HaTzadik, Moshe Rabbeinu, and David HaMelech. And for each one of them, we have a pasuk that needs to match up. So we say tziduk hadin. Those were three great losses for the Jewish people throughout history. Yosef HaTzadik, and the question is, if you go like it's like on the Ushpizin, if you go in the order of Kabbalah or the order of history, that's the machlekes as to why you change around the psukim in Tzidkascha Tzedek Li'olam. But whatever it is, it's a time of Avelos, if you will. The Minhag Yisrael is that we don't say Good Shabbos after Mincha and Shabbos. And the reason we don't say Good Shabbos is because Yosef, Moshe, and David died. It's not like there's a minhag to say Shabbos Satava on Friday night, Kiddush Hayom, and there's a minhag to say Shabbos Satava in the morning, Kiddush Halayla, Kiddush Hayom. But Mincha Shabbos, many people don't say Good Shabbos. Why? Because we say Tziduk Hadin. And the Tziduk Hadin is right. But Linyonenu. Tzidkascha Kahari El, when it comes to understanding the tzedek of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, oh God, why did you create such suffering? Where were you during the Holocaust? Where were you in my life when I had to go through what I went through? Harurei El, we can't touch it. It's in the Shamayim. We really don't know. Mishpatecha, your dinim, your Torah, your midas hadin, Tohaim Rabbah. That's very, very deep, but you can excavate it. It's possible to understand. That's the difference between tzedek and mishpat. Manyen, that all year round we say melech oyev, tzedakah, umishpat, yeah? And Yasser Shemei Tshuva, we say hamelech hamishpat. We're not in the when it comes to the Yemei Hadin. It's all about our cheshbon nefesh. It's not about why did you do this? That's not what it's about. What it's about is hamelech hamishpat. And to further the point, melech, as are the days of Aseret Yemei Tshuva, is Yemei Hamalchus. Rosh Hashanah begins the process of Malchus. So if it's the days of Malchus, as opposed to Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, if it's the days of Malchus, so we say Hamelech HaMishpat. But what's the difference between the Keser and Malchus? The difference is the Keser is Harurei El. And Malchus, that's what we take care of. That's what we need to do. So, Tzidkascha, Kaharei El, Mishpatecha, Tohoim Rabbah. So, listen to where I'm going here. Give me one more second. Mishpatecha Tohoim Rabbah. This is the process which was possible for Avram Avinu to begin to uncover. Why? Because it's Malchus. It had to come from Kil Yosef. It came from him. It came from his hispaniness in the world, his scientific understanding, his intelligence. That's where it came from. Until he was Higia LaKedusha, and until Klal Yisrael came to Har Sinai. But it was a geder of Malchus. And if you look at the Eser Dairais between Adam HaRishon and Avram Avinu, it's going from Gan Eden Amatzia all the way to the place of Malchus. So, I think, God, you spoke about this, no? That if we would have just stayed in Gan Eden, we would have been in the Keser Elyon. Because we did not stay in Gan Eden, for better or for worse, there's a process. The good news is the process comes all the way down to Aretz. And Avram Avinu was able to tap into the process of Malchus, to the process of Mishpat. Yeah? Everybody understands what I'm saying here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and that also, if I'm understanding what the Rav is saying, that's also the fact that happened is that's also part of the
Tzedek.
the tziduk hadin of what comes from Hashem.
Yes. Okay, so something to think about over Shabbos, and Mir Hashem will continue on Sunday.
Thank you.
Bracha
Yeah, thanks
v'atzlacha.
very much.
Okay.